evening was one of the most senior members of my club at Port Credit Toastmasters. And immediately I thought, oh no, what am I gonna do? Now, of course, having seen a couple of speeches already at the beginning, I thought, okay, I can give feedback on things that I thought were done great. But the problem was, heading into that evaluation for that senior member, I'm like, how am I supposed to give this person feedback? He has so much more experience over me. What is it possibly that I could offer him? I thought, oh, this isn't going to be turning out to be the greatest thing for me at that moment. Thank you, Madam Chair, fellow members. Evaluations. The thing about Toastmasters is it's a unique learning environment where there's no instructor that's up at the front teaching like in a class. Everybody takes on roles and everybody takes turns to make a contribution for the betterment of your fellow members. And so that's why feedback is probably one of the biggest keys in improving not only yourself, but also your fellow members as well. And with my experience there, that was the beginning for me, learning how to give feedback to someone so that my fellow member could also improve, but also for me as well, because as an evaluator, you're also taking in key skills as well. It's not just for the speaker, it's for you as well. You guys do table topics here? Impromptu speaking. Well, table topics is not only your opportunity to develop your impromptu speaking skills. Doing an evaluation is also an opportunity for you to come here and speak impromptu. Because you may be taking notes, but at the end of the day, it's not like you're doing a prepared speech. You're still coming up here, had very little time to prepare, and you're essentially giving a speech as well, which is your evaluation as well. Also, when you're evaluating, there's other key skills that you're going to be taking in. Listening skills, looking out for those details while the speaker is speaking. And also, your ability to give feedback, which is the most important key as Toastmasters for you to help others, but also help yourself as well. And today, I want to give you 3 steps for you to get that better analysis when you provide feedback to someone. And I'll also address the biggest question: what do I do if I have nothing to offer in terms of an improvement? So I'll provide that for you as well. So step 1, state your observations. At the end of the day, when you provide an evaluation, it's your opinion. There's no right or wrong. You are stating what you observe based on your opinion. So state, what did you like about the speaker in their presentation? And what did you feel could be improved? For example, I could say, hey Shirley, I liked how you used vocal variety. I felt that you could improve on your stage movement. That's it, step 1, just start with that. And if you're a beginner evaluator, just state what you observed. State what it is that you felt that the speaker did well, what it is the speaker could improve on. That's it. Just start with that and get used to it. Just get used to being up here and providing feedback for the speaker. State your observation. Step number 2, once you've become comfortable coming up here and giving your feedback to the speaker, let's add some more details to the analysis. Point of reference. Where in the speech did the speaker do something that you felt was well done? And where in the speech, specifically, did the speaker, or could the speaker improve on as well, too? So that you're letting the speaker know where in the speech that they can reference these points that you're making. For example, Shirley, I liked your use of vocal variety in that section of your speech where you walked into the bathroom and you found a snake in your toilet. Specifically where? Now she can go back into her speech at that point in time. And then, Shirley, I felt you could have used some stage movement when you were talking about running from home to your workplace that day when you woke up 3 hours late. Again, specific parts. Now, if you can provide word for word, verbatim, what they were saying in their speech, great, but you don't have to. As long as you give a specific idea of where it is, it allows the speaker to go back to that particular moment within their speeches to make those observations as to what they did well and what it is that they could improve on. Once you've become comfortable coming up here, just stating your observations, and then adding in a point of reference for our speakers, our third step, the specific step. Why is what they did an effective part of their speech? Why is it that the area that they need to improve on is necessary? And also how they can improve on it. So again, as an example, surely I like your use of vocal variety, particularly in that part when you walked into the bathroom and found that snake in your room, because the emotions that you displayed really brought out the life of your character in that moment. And surely I felt you could use the stage a little bit more in that particular moment. You talked about running from home all the way to your work when you woke up 3 hours late, so that you can provide the audience clarity that now your home was in one scene and then you were transferring or transitioning into another scene, which is your workplace. And you could do that from moving from one side of the stage. You could use your stage to your right as your home, and then you can plant the other side of the stage as your workplace, which is to your left as well. And that's the key. When you want to give feedback on as to how the speaker can improve, it's the how. Sure, the speaker can sit there and listen to on the details or list of things that they could use to improve on their speeches, but until they know how to do it, it's going to be a little bit challenging for them to take that next step. So specifics. Why is it what they did effective in their speech? And why is the area that they need to improve on necessary? And then add in how they could do it. So these are our 3 steps that can be used to get a little bit of a deeper analysis in your speech evaluations. If you're just starting out on giving feedback, just state the observations of what you felt was well done and what you felt could be improved on. Just keep it at that. And once you've gotten used to that step, let's add a little bit more to the analysis. Provide a point of reference. Where in the speech specifically did you notice these observations? And then, to round out your analysis, add in a little bit more specifics. The why and the how. Now, if you're in that situation where you're just writing your evaluations for a speaker and you keep thinking to yourself, oh, well, when is he going to mess up so I can point that out? I have nothing to offer. He gave the most absolute perfect speech ever. I have nothing to offer. It happens. It's no matter how experienced of an evaluator you are, it's going to happen time to time. After 8 years, it happens to me quite often as well. I just don't have anything to offer in terms of an improvement. That section of my sheet is blank. Here's what you can do as an alternative. You can take one thing that they did well, and then you can offer an alternative way to do the same thing. Even though it's something that they did well, you're still offering a suggestion on or an alternative on how they can proceed with what they did, whether it is that they used the stage well, whether it is vocal variety, whether it is they use gestures well. So as an example, one thing a person did well, they used your voice to express emotion. Like Shirley screaming from fighting a snake. She just screamed out. As an alternative, something that Shirley could play around with to evoke the same emotions as well. So instead of using her voice, maybe use a facial expression instead of, and then run away as well. Two different ways to show the exact same expression of being scared from finding a snake in a toilet. It's not necessarily an improvement, it just gives the speaker some options. It gives them thoughts on how to proceed the next time that they're in a similar situation when writing a speech. Because then they can think back and refer back to their notes and saying, well, yes, there's one area that they use their voice well, but then there's also the facial expressions that they can use as an alternative. And then depending on the situation and the content of your speech, you now have alternatives. So instead, you offered a suggestion at the end of the day. It may not necessarily be something that they need to improve on as well, but you're offering something as a suggestion. So if you're in one of those situations where you just cannot figure out what to write down as an area of improvement, offer an alternative suggestion to something that they did well. Because at the end of the day, it's still feedback and it's still something that they can take away with them and use for the future as well. And that's the key, is when you're offering a suggestion, it's something that they're going to take, something that they can use with them in the future speeches that they do. So how do we piece all of these things together? And so there's this common technique called the sandwich method. Just like a sandwich, you have your two pieces of your bread and then you have your meat in the middle. So start off your evaluation by providing an area that they did well. 1 point. Use those 3 steps. Well, you can use all those 3 steps that we just talked about for that 1 point. Once you're completed, then move on to a second point that they did well. So you have your top part of the sandwich there. And then the meat is the area for the improvement. Put that into the middle, using those 3 steps again. And then end off with what you thought was the best part of the speech. So 2 areas in which they did well, then the 1 area of improvement, and then the best part of the speech. So that way, you're ending on a positive note. So that the speaker is feeling motivated to take their feedback, use it, and come back and do the speech again. So using that to get positivity, a positive feeling, so that they feel good about themselves. When you're giving your feedback, then there's also certain ways that you can use language as well. You always start off with the word I. I felt that you could use a little bit more vocal variety. Instead of saying, well, you need to work on your voice here. You need to work on your stage here. Well, you need to be a little bit more energetic up there. Instead of saying the word you can use the word I. What I felt you can do. And this is not just for Toastmasters, this is going beyond your walls as well. If you have any staffers under you that are out there that you need to provide feedback on, these techniques can help you as well. The language, where I felt you could do better. Instead of saying, well, you need to come on time. Well, you're always late. No, I feel that you could come a little bit on time. Instead of saying you can start with the word I. And that way, it doesn't sound like that you're attacking the person, but instead, you're providing them with actual constructive feedback in which they will be motivated to use in the future. And it's something that they'll remember a little bit better instead of the word you. So use the word I instead in providing your feedback. And one last point I want to make before I wrap this up. As Ramila has mentioned, this is a safe space for you. Within these walls, this is your opportunity, and the best analogy that I heard was, this is your place to come once a week and screw up. This is your place to come and screw up, learn from your mistakes, and improve. There's no other place like that where you can just mess up all you want before you go back out there Because here, you're in a supportive environment, no one's judging you, no one's here to be critical with you. Here, we're in a safe spot to provide you with constructive feedback so that you can strengthen yourself and then you can use your tools to help others outside beyond those walls. And so I do have a sheet, a summary sheet of what I just talked about here that I'll hand out at the end of the presentation. But with that, that is my presentation on how you can go a little bit deeper in your analysis of your speech evaluations. Madam Chair.